Alright guys, so I've been tossing around the idea of making a video like this, basically a yard sale don'ts type of video, just things that I have compiling that I personally feel like you should not do if you're having a yard sale. So hopefully this video will be informative to anyone who is thinking about having a yard sale, some ideas to keep in mind of possible don'ts. Obviously, maybe not everyone will agree with everything that I'm going to go over, but I think a lot of you will agree with it. So let me know down in the comments if you feel me on these yard sale don'ts, or if you have any of your own that you can think of that you want to add, let me know. So the first thing that I have as far as a yard sale don't is don't forget to put your start time in your advertisement. So this is a really important piece of information when it comes to yard sale advertising. You want to know, your buyers, I should say, want to know what time your yard sale is going to start. A lot of us hardcore yard sailors, yeah, I'm calling us hardcore yard sailors, we put together an entire route of where we're going to go, and a lot of that has to do with what time a yard sale starting and what location basically that they're in. So you definitely want to have a start time, because there's nothing worse than going to a yard sale that doesn't have a start time, and you go thinking, okay, well maybe they'll be set up at 7 o'clock, and you get there and obviously they're not set up. It doesn't even look like they're having a yard sale because no one's outside or anything like that. So basically that's one off the list, and then you have to keep going to the other yard sales, and not all the times are people gonna circle back and make that extra trip back to your house because, you know, they were already there and you did not have a start time. So definitely keep a start time in your advertising. Along with that, as far as your advertising goes, make sure that you have your address listed. I know that seems like a common sense thing, but I couldn't tell you how many times I have looked at a yard sale advertisement, even on, like, say, Facebook Marketplace, and the person doesn't even write their address. And then you're getting questions as to, well, where's your yard sale? You know what I mean? So it's a common sense thing, but I do feel like a lot of the times people forget to put their address down. As well as a correct address. I mean, I have gone to yard sales before putting into Google Maps the address, and it's not even the correct address. So it's just very, very important you have your address listed and it is the correct address. So I'm gonna actually put in a screenshot. Just this past weekend, I was looking up yard sale advertisements for yard sales to go to, and I came across this advertisement. So I'll read it out loud to you. I'll also pop it up on the screen. It says, "Come one, come all, estate garage sale like no other, June 16th and 17th, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. Pottery, jewelry, women's clothing and shoes, handbags, household items, and thousands of other treasures." I mean, that is like a great advertisement. You got a little bit of pep and spice at the front of it. You got your dates, you got your time, you got, you know, some of the better items maybe that you have at the sale. So what's missing in that advertisement? No address. You have this perfect advertisement and you forgot to put your address in it. So unfortunately, I couldn't go to the yard sale that day. It sounded like a great yard sale, but I didn't know where it was. And this advertisement in particular was advertised in the newspaper. So they paid for that advertisement, no address. So I'm not sure. I mean, maybe they still had a good turnout. Maybe people still, you know, happened to drive by and was able to go to their yard sale. But Wow, that is why it's so important to have your address in your advertising. Another thing that I think a lot of people have issues with, so a yard sale don't forget to price your items. I know me personally, I struggle a little bit with anxiety and things like that, so sometimes it's hard for me to ask someone how much something is. I'm starting to get better at it, but there are still times where like I don't feel just comfortable asking someone what they want for something. So it's important to have things priced, or if you feel like it's taking too much of your time to actually individually price things, maybe at least put a sign on a table like this table, $2, or color code things like a blue dot means 50 cents, or you know, that kind of thing. So at least there's something involved as far as a price goes, because you will have people coming to your yard sale who might have trouble, like me sometimes, who aren't comfortable asking for a price. So instead of asking for a price, we'll just leave. So that is, you know, potentially you're losing a customer just because you don't have your stuff priced and your buyer isn't comfortable asking you how much your items are. So if at all possible, make sure you have price tag stickers on things or a sign. Another yard sale don't would be, and I see this actually fairly often, where people have eBay printouts on their items, which I understand that people who are having yard sales obviously want to make money as well. But one thing you need to understand as far as putting eBay printouts on things is the fact that just the amount of work that's involved with listing and photographing and cleaning and shipping and all of that stuff. And eBay itself is hundreds of thousands of eyes could be on this item, whereas someone that's coming to your yard sale, it's just gonna be, you know, probably less than 100 people, depending on where you live, that are coming through and stopping at your yard sale. So you definitely have less of a customer base, really, for that particular item. So it's gonna be hard for you to get like an eBay price for something. So just throwing it out there. I know some people do that just to kind of like, I guess, make it known that their item is worth money. But a lot of the times too, when you see an eBay printout, it's just a listing, it's not even a sold. So you can't go by that either, because what something is listed for doesn't mean that's what it is selling for. So try to refrain from putting eBay printout sheets on any of your items. Another yard sale don't, and I say this, but I understand. When things aren't on tables, and I'm talking about when you have items just thrown in boxes on the ground, or maybe you laid out a blanket and you just threw everything on a blanket or a piece of tarp or what have you. And I understand people doing that. If they don't have table space, I know not everyone has, you know, the nice fold out tables and things like that. And I do know a lot of people will sometimes put plushies and like kid related stuff on blankets, just, you know, so it's easier for the kids, and that's understandable. I do get that. But you're gonna have people coming to your yard sale who may have, you know, older people, or even people with like some disability where they're not able to bend over and that type of thing. And as I'm getting older, it's even hard sometimes for me to be like on the ground or bent over for long periods of time, or on, you know, bending on my knees for long periods of time, going through things that are laying on tarps and stuff like that. So I understand if you don't have tables. If you do not have tables, a suggestion for that would be to, if you have plastic totes, which most people use plastic totes to store their stuff in, so you probably have plastic totes or even cardboard boxes. Put your lid on your plastic tote or fold your cardboard box and turn it upside down, and there you have like a tiny little table. Your tote box or an upside down cardboard box, your stuff isn't on the ground and it's raised ever so slightly, so people can see it a little better and they're not gonna have to get on the ground or bend over or just be uncomfortable while shopping at your yard sale. So just an idea of potentially trying not to just throw everything on the ground. To keep with that is tables that are set up with no throughway of traffic. I don't know how many times this happens where I'll go into someone's garage and there's like literally no way out except the way you came in. There's no like going around or anything like that. It just like kind of cuts off. And then if you have multiple people behind you, it's like you're stuck there, really. So definitely think that out when you are putting up your tables. I know it seems so weird, but it happens a lot. So make sure that you have kind of like a way for your foot traffic to completely like get around the tables and not get stuck in your garage. Also, a yard sale don't is obviously don't forget to advertise. Again, kind of a common sense thing, but you know, there's tons of times where I'll see a yard sale sign and it won't be on my list because I didn't see an advertisement for it. And then Eric and I will go try and chase after that yard sale sign. I call it chasing a yard sale is what I tell him. Like sometimes I'm like, I don't feel like chasing a yard sale today, because we'll look at the sign, we'll go to the address, and there won't be a yard sale because maybe someone forgot to take down their sign, or it's for the following day and not the day that you're actually seeing the sign. Like maybe you see the sign on Thursday, but the yard sale's not till Friday type of thing. So that's why it's so good to do your advertising. I understand, like, for the people who live on main roads where they get tons of car traffic coming through, I understand not really advertising for those yard sales because you kind of don't have to, because there's so many people that you'll just get basically because they're driving by. You know, typically your local newspapers will allow advertising yard sales. You usually obviously have to pay for that, but you can also post on Craigslist. People still do post on Craigslist their yard sales, as well as Facebook Marketplace, and those options are free, and you're still going to have people who are looking and searching and seeing your advertisement. So that kind of goes hand in hand. Yard sale, don't forget to take down your yard sale signs. I see this happen a lot, obviously, where people just don't take down their signs. Another thing is, with your signs, make sure they're readable. Make sure you have the date on those, make sure you have your address on those, and make sure you can see it. You know, obviously it's good to use a bright colored sign, but make sure you're not just like using a bright colored sign and then writing in pen, because no one is going to be able to read that. Big black magic marker, you're all good. So that kind of goes in with my next yard sale don't was going to be like signs that are not readable. So I already kind of went through that. Another thing would be, and again, this is something I don't think everyone is going to agree with me on. For me personally, and a lot of people that, you know, I know who yard sale, like to go early in the day. Like morning yard sales, typically 7 a.m. is prime yard sale start time, but 8 o'clock is still fairly good. Once you start getting into the 9 o'clock and later area, that's when I'm kind of like, I don't even think I'm going to be able to go to this yard sale, because I go early and I like to finish before lunchtime. So if you're not having your yard sale until like later in the evening, you're definitely going to lose some customers who, you know, aren't going to be wanting to go to yard sales so late in the day. I understand there are some people who, you know, can't because of their work schedules or maybe their children's school schedules or what have you. But just saying 7 a.m. is perfect. At least around here it is. 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. But yeah, I sometimes see yard sales advertised for like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock. I've seen them 4 p.m. in the evening. Like, no. just no. All right, another yard sale don't advertise your yard sale as an estate sale. Estate sales and yard sales are two very different things, at least in my eyes. An estate sale is basically someone's house and the entire contents of said house, where, you know, you go and you walk through said house and pretty much everything is for sale. That's an estate sale. A yard sale is when you're just outside or in your garage selling some things that you no longer want anymore. No one's coming into your home. You know, no one's moving to a retirement home or passed away, God forbid, or that type of thing. But I cannot tell you how many times I have gone to yard sales that were advertised as estate sales, but were obviously not estate sales. I just recently, we went to a yard sale, and a lot of the times around here, it's a lot of the same people have yard sales every year. You know what I mean? So there's this one yard sale that we've been going to year after year after year. And, you know, it's just a yard sale. They just are selling their stuff. Well, just a couple weeks ago, they advertised their yard sale as an estate sale. And it wasn't an estate sale. It was still just a yard sale with the same stuff they've been selling year after year. So it's just, it upsets the people who are actively looking for estate sales. For me, it doesn't matter. I'll go to an estate sale. I'll go to a yard sale. It does not matter to me. But, you know, some people do get turned off by that people are using the term estate sale to try to, I guess, lure people in type of thing. So definitely just be careful with your wording. Don't advertise your yard sale or garage sale as an estate sale unless it's actually an estate sale. And if you're unsure of what an estate sale is, just, you know, Google it. But it's basically like the entire contents of a home type of thing. One thing that I personally don't like, and I had to put down for a yard sale don't, is when the seller at the yard sale is talking about all of the good stuff that they already sold. Like, the people that are at your yard sale at that time, when you say something like that is a huge turn off. So, like, we're automatically gonna think like, oh, okay, well, they already sold everything good, so let's just leave, you know what I mean? So don't say that type of stuff around your customers because they do not want to hear it. It sucks for us because we weren't there for the good stuff, and it also just kind of like rubs you in a way of like, okay, well then there's not going to be anything here for me because apparently all the good stuff was sold. So just be careful about what you're saying around your customers. As far as a buyer is concerned, a yard sale don't, in my mind, as a buyer, is don't talk down already cheap prices. Especially, you know, as a reseller, we're buying things to resell. A lot of times we're already getting a very good price at someone's asking price at a yard sale. I've definitely gotten better with, you know, sometimes before, like, I would go to yard sales and if I'd see, you know, something priced at say like 20 bucks, I'd be like, oh gosh, that's too much. You know what I mean? Because I was so used to paying like a quarter or $1 for things. And then once I started going to auctions and paying more for stuff, but knowing that I'm gonna make more for items, it doesn't like bother me anymore to pay more higher prices at yard sales. So like I was at a yard sale once before, and there was someone there who was a reseller. Like I knew this person, and the seller had $5 on a cookie jar, and he was asking if they'd go cheaper than $5. It's like, come on, man. Like, it's $5. Just pay the $5. You're still gonna make a profit on the cookie jar. So it's just times like that where I just feel like, you know, especially if you're a reseller, like, give the people what they're asking for. At least that's just how I feel. Like, it takes a lot of work to have a yard sale. Like, I'm on both ends here. Like, I used to have yard sales like every year, and it's very time consuming. It takes, you know, weeks of preparation, pricing things, advertising, putting it all out, sitting outside all day in the heat and that type of thing. It is a lot of hard work to have a yard sale. So it's like, I feel for those people who are having the sale, because I know how much work is involved with it. So that's why I just feel like I don't mind paying their prices, because of the fact that they put all of the work into it. I'm still gonna make profit off of what I'm buying. So win-win there in my eyes. So I feel like that's pretty much everything as far as yard sale don'ts that I could think of. I'm sure there's still plenty more. So if there's anything you can think of to add to the list of yard sale don'ts, definitely leave that in the comments. Maybe any kind of like pet peeve you have as far as yard sales go, whether as a person who's having a yard sale or a person who, you know, is going to yard sales. But that's pretty much everything that I can think of. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you thought down in the comments, and if you have anything else to add, and I will see you next time.